is like a big gangster, at least there's someone who can try against this gangsterism. But when here, who are you gonna say against the Queen? Who are you gonna say against like you can't say anything against royal? They're the gangsters.
They're top there.
They are your gangsters. What are you gonna do about them? Nothing.
Yes.
Just whenever it's their birthday, get out and wave the flag. Yes, boss.
Well, what's very interesting is that we have had left-wing governments in this country, but each of them has kissed the feet of the Germans. They've not been Republicans. They've not said, okay, we're going to get rid of the king, we're going to have a president. They've not said international socialism. They said, I am your prime minister. I'm your first butler, first servant.
Please, Mr. Himmler. Yeah,
Please,
exactly.
Please, sir, may I have some more? And so, there's never been any opposition in this country. Not since Cromwell.
In West where you have the big gangsters who are ruling the country. In those countries, you have got big gangsters who are just trying to survive themselves. But in here, they've got the whole kingdom that they have to survive with.
You don't think this is the case in Afghanistan?
No, in Afghanistan, to be a gangster, the idea of gangsterism is stupid. In Afghanistan, we think. First of all, example, come to see Taliban right now. They will sit down on the floor and eat food with you. You cannot tell the difference between a president or a normal guy. They all dress the same. They all have same idea, same mentality. Now, who's a gangster in here? There's nothing you can do about gangsters in here. In Afghanistan, people would stand up against Taliban the day they don't like Taliban. But in here, you can't. When it's Queen's birthday, you literally have to go and say, stand there for the line for the Queen to just come out and wave the 1 million, 2 million people. Who are you?
It's embarrassing. It's utterly embarrassing. And we have the technology. We have the common law, which the Americans take really seriously. They buy up all the copies of Magna Carta because they see the barons' revolt against the king as the start of their constitution and their republic. We came up with this, and yet we have no guns. We've been turned into slaves in our own land by German conquerors, and then we're supposed to be happy about it and worship them. And we have the common law, and we can see it with the EU, we can see it with the vaccines and with the lockdowns, and we have the tools. We are free men on the land. We have rights. We have rights at law. We don't have the willpower. When we're losing the tools, the lockdown and the vaccines and the EU creating a situation where we will not only forget what the tools are, we won't have them anymore.
But on the willpower, sorry, I was going to say I've got to go because I've got to have drinks in Stockbridge, the Greyhound in Broughton, 6 p.m. with a chap called Thibaut Debray, Chevalier Debray, son of Patrick, etc., etc. They're all great people. They're in the Adams Schlep, whatever,
It's like a magician.
all that stuff. So come over, 6 p.m. in Broughton. Mengley, doctor, yeah. We're going to have some great fun. And see you later. I love Lorenzo. Fucking love Lorenzo. Yeah, great man. I love Lorenzo. Yeah. Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Bye-bye. Shout out to Exeter University and Thibaut Debray. Okay, bye-bye.
Ciao.
We're going to have something.
Have a good
Later.
day.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Ciao. Yeah, bye. Bye.
I think what I'll say is we seem to be, because we're so advanced or whatever with our liberal democracy and all these things. It's like essentially it sounds like the Afghan philosophy or like the Pashtun philosophy is if you can't hold it in your hand and you can't see it, it's like you're probably selling me a dud.
Absolutely, you are.
Whereas all these freehold ideas, which are like like the idea of fractional reserve banking and limited companies, all these intellectual devices for doing more and more complex things, sort of they make the real thing further away
from where.
But it is from
it's
you.
all leverage.
But that is the concept, though. What I was saying about the
and so
small,
like
what I was saying about debt holders, poor people with credit cards, is that a lot of debt does get transferred onto them. I'm just saying they carry a lot of the burden of debt. Is this future gratification, slowly buying small luxuries, spread en masse? That's where a lot of the fractional reserve debt goes.
another bolt in your whole
Do you not have
cycle of ruling you. You know, it's just about just giving you a credit card spend, mortgage another side, your loans another side, and you've got 9 to work 5. That's by the way people work. They wake up.
Do you not have this in Afghanistan? Anything comparable to that sort of situation?
No, people will wake up around 5 o'clock in the morning.
No.
They wake up 5 in the morning. Everyone does. They go to prayers. 7 o'clock in the morning, majority of the work starts. Whether you're a teacher, whether you're a farmer, whether you're whoever you are, you work until 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's 5 hours. You go home. You have your lunch, sleep over around 4 o'clock. If you feel like it, you come back to work, do 2 hours of work. If you feel like it, if you don't feel like it, you don't have to. Schools, you start from morning until afternoon, 12 o'clock. And then you start from 12 o'clock until 4 o'clock. 4 hours, 5 hours of school. In here, you have got 8, 9 hours of school. Like, what? 8, 9 hours? What? Who manages to learn what in those 8, 9? So a kid goes to school at 9 o'clock and they're back at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Do you know a kid is not supposed to be learning all this random crap for no reason? You should have break, whether it's for men, all the people are younger, they should have break. They should control their mind. And here you've got 9 hours, 10 hours of work for what? What'd you get out of it? And then I work at £80, £100.
You get a certificate, which allows you to get another certificate.
They don't teach you in here in the schools in here. They don't teach you how to earn money.
No
They
finance.
teach you how to run away from money.
They teach you no finance, no personal finance.
The idea of people learning in here in the school is rubbish. And what are you supposed to learn? What are you learning anyways? Oh, thank you. What are you learning? Are you learning something which is relevant? How many of you guys growing up, how many of you guys have learned that how to make money?
You go to school.
They don't teach you.
No personal finance.
This is not something.
They'll teach you economics, macroeconomics when you're 16, 14, 16, not before. But you don't know anything about how to finance your life.
Absolutely. This is not what life is not supposed to do. You're not supposed to learn this. This is when we have kids in the school, we don't teach them about at that age about by the way, this your education is even ridiculous. You teach kids the sex education for kids. What? Since when did you guys start teaching kids how to have sex? And when should you teach kids when to have sex? Says your teachings are a bit immoral, I would say. When you're supposed to learn about how is completely wrong of the way you guys teach things. You mandates. I mean, you force things. You can't in West. You can't hit your kid. Wait. Oh, what? You can't hit your kid? You can't. Why? And who are you to tell me if I can hit my kid or not?
So it sounds like the West has got a lot of intellectual devices that the real reason they exist is to make the gangster class richer.
Yep.
And purely.
and obscure that from everyone else.
And it all has to be is the minimum viable product to convince everybody to go along with it.
Yeah, so all of these so-called social technologies, as you've identified, are really there to pull the wool over our eyes, distract us from what's really meaningful in life,
to keep you busy,
and
just to keep
and dissipate the energy that otherwise would be used for people doing what they want to.
Right now, if you go outside and you see 2 people fighting, I will guarantee you the first thing 9 out of 10 people would do would take their phone and start recording. As a human, your first instinct should not for you to be recording. It's for you to stop the fight. What are you guys doing? But this is the first thing you do. You take out your phone and you start recording. this is how you think
Yeah, so-
morality is.
Yeah, the incentive of the recording thing, the incentive of people to do. I mean, I think it's fucking abhorrent, but but it's like the incentive is, oh, I could get some follows or whatever, but
Yeah.
Which has replaced the natural kind of humanity. They've replaced humanity with
social media following.
Yeah, and yeah.
So there are some people in your phone that might look at the video
And judge you based on that.
positively because you're providing them with content, like a video to watch, rather than saying, well, what's going on here? What are the human
I mean,
interactions?
the technology that humans have available at the moment is probably, I would say, 2% of what is actually available.
Yes.
For us humans.
Yeah.
Like 2%, if
Yeah.
that's so.
Yeah.
Even if that, because with that 2%, I'm stretching quite a lot. I have seen some absolutely mind blowing things, to be honest with you.
Go on.
So there was in Afghanistan we have I'm assuming they are more likely to be British Army, I would say, based on a couple of times I've seen. So they have got these things. I don't know if any of you guys have seen. It's literally a clear thing that they put on them and you can't see anyone.
Cloaking.
Like,
Cloaking
Oh, it's like a
technology.
video. It plays a video of the background.
no,
like
it's
you're-
actually clear.
There are planes like that. They're video of the sky above it.
So you're saying that you have
can
a
have a
screen
suit, which
on the
is a
front
s-
of you
which
and
is-
a camera on the back, and then it projects what it sees behind. So
Yeah.
you look see through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I mean is like a shawl, like one of those things. You actually put on you
The cloak.
and you can't see anything. Like you cannot see who.
So there could be someone in this room right now wearing one
You
of
could
those.
absolutely. It is you can't
said
see
that?
it, and they have had what they
Imagine,
also
never
do.
know.
Like the thing. First of all, it's very easy for the army to come up with technologies that's beyond imagining. Beyond, they will put things inside the rock. They'll turn out later on that rock. It turns out to be a good fight for you. It's just the things they do, and the only places they do is in the war countries.
Yeah.
Because there's no one who would hold them accountable for it. If you see, 1 million of these small little ants coming on the road tomorrow, everyone will question them.
Yes.
But if you was to let them out in a war zone, no one's going to
Yeah.
question who is that.
There's been questions in the House of Commons for the Prime Minister the next day about this ant issue.
That's it,
Nanobots. Yeah.
But the technologies is what they have given you is just a tip of what they want.
Yeah,
you to be involved in.
the screen, the touch screens. These were patented in the 1950s in America. Yeah, and they were released in the
Well, they were the little,
in
the little ones.
the
weren't they?
2000s.
Mm.
Yeah, because there's a rollout of the tech to the public, which is a decades-long rollout.
Absolutely.
Usually in the military, isn't it?
Yes, this technology that we have now, probably it was available to the military in 1970s, 1960s, if anything.
Mm.
If anything, we're very, very backward from what technology they have available.
Mm.
The majority of this, as you said, they were already licensed and patent already for it.
Mm.
When it comes to either cars or
Mm.
phones, or there's a lot of people that already. Some very interesting thing as well. I mean, with the have you guys seen anything to do with someone with time traveling, or someone with people who actually has randomly appeared in random things? Have you guys seen any?
Oh, there's
Not in videos, real life.
no
No personal experience.
personal
Time
experience,
travel.
no.
I mean, I've heard stories
I
about.
don't know if it's time travel or whatever it is. I personally do not. I can't confirm it. But what I
What
did
is
see.
his experience?
So we were in Mazar Sharif. Mazar Sharif
Mm.
is in the north of Afghanistan, and it was Afghanistan. The weather is we've got beautiful full 4 season.
Mm.
When it's winter, we've got snow.
Mm.
When it's summer, we have got full sun. We've
Mm.
got spring and autumn, full 4 season.
Mm.
And we had it was me and another 2 of my friends who came from London to visit Afghanistan.
Mm.
So where the army base, British army bases were, they're almost covered in every way you go. They've got high walls, covered block with things, and there is where we were standing. I was showing my friend that look, if you was to pass through this line, your satellite, the connection would you lose your connection because you don't.
Damn, Massey, damn.
Hi, nice to meet you. How are you? You lose the connection because of the high satellite frequency and everything like that. I kid you not. I mean, it's totally up to whoever wants to believe it, but from a solid wall. From a solid, these are not solid wall, by the way. These are cotton walls.
Yes.
In Afghanistan, they're actual concrete walls. From a solid wall, it was like a train of not trained people, but at least 5-6 people. They literally start walking out of the wall, and it's no door,
No tunnel, no
It was, and it's too high for anyone to even climb up there. But it was too easy for these guys to literally walk out of it. It was amazing. And it literally looked as if they walked out of the wall and they entered another wall. Walked out of the wall into it was a very, very, very
so like teleportation or like portals.
Not only me, but my friends for like good 2 minutes. We didn't know what to say. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to react to it. We wanted to take back this. Did you just see that? And back in those countries, people are very religious, so they would kind of link these kind of things to jinns and known creatures and so on. But I did see, and it was just absolutely mind blowing. It was mind blowing to see.
Were they soldiers or were they?
They were normal people. They were normal people.
But English.
Yes.
This was in the English army base.
Where was this?
So
Mazar Sharif.
Mazar Sharif.
English people. I think you have to understand that,
like civilians.
UK, they don't have nothing to import or export. I'm sorry, to export in terms of income.
Yeah.
You guys don't have anything to sell but technology and services.
Yes.
The whole when nuclear weapon war or nuclear any sort of thing which has got to do with technology is got to do with UK. UK makes it and then sells it, whether it is to the Americans, whether to the French.
Yeah.
Apart from that, you don't have any. Well, I mean, obviously you've got loads of stolen money.
Yes.
But which is mainly from India. Do you know that you guys took like over? I think it was about for the 100 years of.
I stole it from myself.
Right.
One half of your brain still
stole it from myself.
You should pay yourself reparations. Then.
I'm in debt.
From left to right.
But no, I mean pension funds. There are pension funds. There are gold funds.
These are all funds that they're literally making fun of you guys.
From other countries that are held in the city of London, and they're held on trust by the banks. Yeah, and nobody will ever come for that money.
What a funny thing that all these banks are owned privately as well.
Yes, fancy that. Oh, no, who's on who's the trustee? Oh, it's of all this money, foreign assets that we happen to have here. I'm the trustee, and
the idea
and the trust and the trust beneficiary. Oh, he's lost at sea. He'll never be. So well, I'll just administer the trust. It's okay. Yeah.
The idea of making money and having value on the money and then selling that money back to the people. Federal Reserve. I mean,
yes,
owned privately.
Yes,
private. There is no limit to who tells them how much to print. You don't know how much they can print.
The funny thing is that the propaganda for the Federal Reserve when it was set up in 1913 was that we get the first families of America who are very good with money are going to prevent market crashes from ever happening again. So we need money managers who are very rich, who understand money. It's in our blood. Rothschilds and Rockefellers and all these characters. and we'll meet up. We'll meet on Devil's Island, and we'll set up the charter of the bank, and there'll never be a financial crash again. And then in 1921, what was there? Huge financial crash. 1929, Great Depression. Under their watch, they didn't follow the terms of the charter.
No,
But they didn't
the
follow.
question.
Because they were there to issue the money and the interest rates to prevent economic turbulence. And what do? They cause more.
Was that a sort of federalist thing?
Yeah, so that was the Federal Reserve, which is the central bank of America.
Yeah, but the question is,
Yeah, but-
for how long are you guys going to be carrying on with this? For how long would you actually sit down and only talk about it? For how long would it be accepted by you guys to let them run the way they have been running?
That's
for how long?
that's why we're creating cryptocurrencies. That's why we're creating blockchain systems. That's why we're producing media to get the story out there and to try to wake people up as
But there
to
must be another
their
way.
rights and what they're losing. Because every year that goes by, all this ancient technology that we have, social and physical and intellectual, all of this tech, legal and so on, is ebbing away. For every time we don't fight for it,
Yep.
for every time we don't enact it, for every time we don't understand it, for every year, it's less likely that we'll keep it or redevelop it ever again. And so now we're in a position where blockchain technology represents a new potential for people to start flowering, to start producing things themselves, to start taking back their rights.
I mean,
and
it's
taking back,
a good thing in a way that you're actually devaluing the paper money,
Yes.
which is a huge thing. But again, if by devaluing paper money, you're putting value in something which is not tangible,
Yes, I understand that.
and by having that could be your whole life, and whoever you are would depend on this technological thing that it's not tangible and it can be deleted at any time, or you can simply forget it at any time.
What do you say to that?
So it seems from 10 years of global rollout of Bitcoin that there are enough computers in enough different locations holding nodes of the entire Bitcoin blockchain that if 10,000 of those nodes go down, there'll be another 10,000. Now, the problem is, as you say, internet and electricity infrastructure. You're right. The Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and the blockchain technology that they run on are dependent on the internet infrastructure and the electric infrastructure. You're right. We need an anti-fragile solution that stands behind that for if the electricity goes down, if the Chinese set off an EMP bomb, which we know they have, and so on. But within the framework of advanced electrical civilization with internet, what Bitcoin and blockchain represents is a new form of democracy, which is global and which does allow people to take back their assets into their own hands, of their time, their energy, their education, and can allow them to form relationships with people to create new value, which is not dependent on the statutes and
but
writs
right now it
of a
is.
government.
Right now it is. Right now, the whole thing and ideas of your success is based on internet and
Yes.
But-
you take them out, you don't have anything.
But isn't the normal currency based on information technology? So
Yes.
if it went down,
So
we'd be screwed anyway.
the fiat
It's-
currencies
it's- I mean,
Bitcoin and blockchain
intangible.
tech
It's
is in no
intangible.
worse position
Yeah,
than
it's in
central
no worse
banks.
position.
I think
It's
this
intangible.
the whole
It's just not centralized. So.
earlier on we touched on a point where we didn't really carry on the idea of Saddam Hussein. One of the main reasons to take out Saddam Hussein and to take out Gaddafi
Yes.
had nothing to do with the weapon of mass destruction or that crap.
No, Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi were financial rebels.
I have the ones that went on
They
the
were
floor.
they were trading.
But what
They were
saying-
Saddam Hussein was trading oil in euros, and that was not acceptable with the petrodollar system. And Muammar Gaddafi had floated a dinar in gold to revalue oil.
What they wanted to do, their idea was let's devalue the money completely. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because money has given a different value in different parts of the world, and that's what makes rich and poor a huge gap.
Yeah.
In America, if you have got $100, it's absolutely fine to have $100. That money in Afghanistan was had a huge difference.
Yeah.
What does $100 mean in there? So what they wanted to do, they wanted to create the whole idea of buying and selling in gold. So I would know your value. The value of the gold wouldn't go up and down. So, like example, if the value of gold is, I don't know, 33, if you have got 1 kilo and I have 1 kilo, me and you will equal.
Yes.
But if you have 1 kilo of gold in America and I have 1 kilo of gold in I don't know, Bangladesh, the market value might be the same, but the value of actual product is different thing in America and in here.
Yeah.
That's with the money. With gold, it's not. With gold, it is what it is. So now we have bear in mind why is it important for those people to trade in gold?
Yeah.
Because they see it as, hold on a second, you are trying to take my resources on paper. Paper is money. All you have to do is just lighter and literally the whole paper is gone. What am I getting in this?
Yes, beads.
Where gold,
we'll build a fort and buy this place with beads.
where gold has had historical value, it would not lose its value in future. So trading gold would make only sense. That would become the value of a country, and it was very bad for America because America and UK both together combined would not have as much gold as Libya itself alone, or Nigeria, or Iraq. They don't have that much.
Oh, really?
gold.
I didn't know that.
Gaddafi himself alone by himself had more gold than the UK.
Yeah,
it's like the guy has dictatorship was. Do you know that before war in Libya, every Libyan citizen they were not born in debt, by the way. If you wanted to go have education in America and it would have costed you 30 grand, the government would have paid the money for you to go study abroad.
This is what I was talking about in terms of a mortgage for life, but you pay out at the start. They had a sovereign wealth fund.
Yes,
which they paid out to the people for the oil wealth.
Yes. So when you were 18 years old, you had a place. You were not running a poor life in Libya.
Yeah.
You were not running poor life in those Arab countries. Why? Or the way they were set up, because they did not put value on the money. They put value on their resources. They put value on what they have tangible. Money is not a tangible thing. Is a piece of paper. If you take it out, it's literally paper. It's literally paper. Nothing else.
Yes.
A means to an end.
Absolutely.
Well, it's you know, here's something useful.
Yeah.
And you give me a piece of paper in exchange. You can write with that. The piece of paper is pointless.
Yeah.
If you don't take what's written on it as face value, literally face value, the value of the face. If you don't believe that, it's worth zero. It's a piece of paper.
Absolutely, it doesn't have. Like example, I had when I was in Afghanistan. One day I was going to one of these places. By the way, there's no credit cards in there, so everything is based on cash.
Oh, really?
Everything
That's
is
because I didn't know that. Everything is cash. There's no loan, not so much lending.
Everything is cash.
Is there a Hawala system?
Yes.
Yes. Literally, that's much like a blockchain ledger system.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we went there, and there's a lot of people you see them with the rows holding money to exchange for you. I searched my pocket. I didn't have Afghan money, so I searched, but I did have a £50 note. I gave it to this guy. I said, "Change it for me." He looked at it. He threw it back at me like, "I don't want it." I said, "This is £50 note." He said, "I don't want it."
If you had dollars,
value for me.
If you had dollars,
yes, because they're not dollars.
So you're saying this is
yeah. So it depends on the face value.
It would depend on where do you have which part of the world would accept your money.
Yes.
Like example, if I was to bring you Afghan money in here and give it to a shop, like, no, I don't want it. You're like, bro, this has got a big value. No.
You can go and exchange it. Yeah.
But if I was to bring you gold, anyway, if the transaction would be in gold, no one would have had any issue. Like, yes, let me see the gold. That's it, done. So paper money has bring value on rich and poor,
Mm.
where gold would maintain that.
Yes.
So you wouldn't have big families earning in billions and me and you working for £1 an hour.
So you're for the gold standard.
Absolutely, 100%. It would define you. It would actually put more. It would take you out of this old restrictions you have at the moment with everything.
Yes.
You know, but as I said, if tomorrow a crash happens, whatever money you have in the bank is gone.
Yeah.
Finito. You don't have, and you can't. Even if you're a millionaire,
Yeah,
you can't do. What you gonna do?
Gold, Bitcoin, and property, people. Those are the only real assets that exist right now. Maybe have a portfolio of all three, and maybe an AK-47 too, to preserve your
I would
freedom.
never suggest people to buy houses. I would never suggest them, especially.
You need a house, and you may as well own it.
But look, the idea of you owning something that you pay back stuff that for someone else, this is not owning. Example, you guys pay, what do you call this, council tax?
Yes.
So let me get this right. So you buy a house.
Yeah.
You own freehold of the house.
You have the freedom to hold it for now until the Jones want it back.
That means that it's not yours.
Yeah.
But you have to pay the council a tax for owning the house. Am I right?
Yes. I mean, I think you probably would have. There's probably a limit play of, well, if you live in the Outer Hebrides of Scotland and you get your own water and you make your own electricity, then perhaps you could say, right, well, and you don't have a road. You maintain your own road or whatever. So what essentially it's like it's like charges for a condo, but we're all living in condos in the sense that. Like
what
there's
would you guys do if tomorrow the government turns around and says, you know what, after this, because of coronavirus, obviously we're gonna mandate these things for you, which you will accept. But let's just say in 5 years' time they tell you, right, after this, every single person should pay £5 per day for breathing the air because we're doing something. You don't have a choice. You're gonna have to pay, right? Why? Because every single thing of yours is held by them. You don't have nothing of yours under you. Your car's not yours, your house is not yours, your money is not yours, the bank is not yours, the food there is nothing that you own. Example, in Afghanistan, 90% of the people who have got a house is their house. Anything they want to do with it, it's your house. It's your land. Do it.
A lot of these houses are quite small, are they? Very small.
No, absolutely not. Our smallest house is bigger than all of your big houses. Like this, this is box. Look, this is a box.
in underground.
Yes, he's
living in a box.
Right? This is a box. In Afghanistan, we would have for a bit of people who have got royalty, we would have people who's working, our drivers and the stuff. We would give them a bunker like this, but bigger than this. So the ideas of you guys living in a box is like a rat idea. You guys come out of one box and go to another box, go to another box. What's this? The whole room the whole room is not even two places to walk. In Afghanistan and even in Pakistan and India, people play cricket in their drive. Like the front drive you have here. Yes. People they play cricket, and that's how big they are. You guys have got 70% of the UK is greenery.
Yeah.
70% of your country is green. That you can build big houses, you guys can enjoy living in big houses, but it's like you haven't even given space for the houses to breathe. It's right next to each other,
or on top.
And you can't have. What kind of house do you own that you don't have the choice how to build it? You have to have this triangle head, this church windows, and then you don't have the right to build your own type of house.
And that's not the case in Afghanistan?
Absolutely. In Afghanistan, you buy the land, you design your house, and you build it. What?
You can build
Let's
any
go to
shape,
Afghanistan.
anything you want.
Land of the free
There
and
is-
home of the brave.
People have built houses
Maybe
on top
these
of the
guys are
mountains.
the next best thing.
On top of the mountains.
I'm sold.
This idea you guys have accepted.
Yes.
This lifestyle, and you
Yes.
guys accepted this as a freedom.
Mm.
We think that this is
Slavery.
slavery. Modern slavery. You know, go to work, a specific, come back. Go to work, next day to come back. Oh, how old am I? Oh, I'm 20. Okay, go to work, come 30, 50. Oh, 60. Now this house is yours. The mortgage is finished.
You're really old.
what? This house is mine. After paying what? Thousands.
And
All
the
that
problem in
work.
Russia that, people are living in the architectural how you say,
Building.
monuments.
Yes.
Building, yes, and they are quite happy owning their places, and they're like put cheap plastic windows on this beautiful. So the building's facade, they're most peculiar. So people build some balconies because they need fresh air, because they want to smoke their cigarette on the balcony, or because they're cold in winter. They need this cheap window because they don't have money to buy expensive and beautiful ones that they should be. Like with the 3 layers of glass.
So you've got your patrimony and you've got people squatting in it. You've got the patrimony of the nation.
No,
why would you say
people
that people
just,
would be squatting
enjoy
in this?
owning
It's if you look, if you own this laptop, you might not be one of those guys who would put anything on your laptop, but I might be one of those guys who would kind of draw on my laptop.
Yes.
It's my right what I want to do with the things I have.
Oh, but not a national monument.
But when you guys
I want those fucking
monuments, whether it's monuments, whether it's the statues, who has made them? What have you? Why have you made them? Why have you made the idea of having something made and not using it is just stupidity.
So you're against public monuments?
Pardon?
You're against public monuments?
What do you mean? Am I against?
You just said, what's
No, I'm
the
not
point in
against
having
it.
something that no one can use?
No, I'm not against it. I'm saying that if tomorrow someone wants to go and live in a specific place, they should, by all means, they should go and do it. You know, but to limit people, that look, you can't go in London. You have to, whether you're a millionaire or whatever, you don't have a choice but to live in these box houses. Go to some. So in Paddington, I think is a very nice area. The highest ceiling I have seen in London is about 4.2 meters. That's what I have seen. The highest ceiling in here. In Afghanistan, the highest ceiling I have seen is probably about 20 meters. 25 meters. Depends where you go. A friend of mine, he worked here very hard. He earned good money and he made a house back home. Now he's living in Afghanistan. But the way he lives is like a king. One room is literally probably the size of your whole flat. Your whole flat, one room. It depends on lifestyle. You guys are used to these kind of box lives and small things, small roads. Everyone. You guys are you're trained. We're not used to these kind of. We love our houses big. So, example, when people come guests in my house, 100 people can fit on my sitting room without squeezing. Look, 6 people, and we find a hard way to sit down who can put their legs up.
Yes.
Come to Afghanistan, bring 100 people, and I'll make sure all of you guys lay your hands open until you have gone another 2 meters to have a gap with each other. It's a lifestyle. You guys, if you choose to have a horse, you don't have a choice to live here.
Here's a good.
I have a horse.
You can love the have the idea, but you can't afford it. You're not allowed to have it here.
Not allowed to shit anywhere.
It's
Stable,
in the countryside.
Now you have decided. Now apparently you decide that right. We're not allowed to bring horses here, but the places.
Yes. So you were saying.
I was going to say. Now I agree
it would be great to have a big house in the countryside. It's essentially, it sounds like Afghanistan is has lots of like estates and nice places to live, which are big. Now, yes, but could Afghanistan, in one of its bigger cities, could it put on a rock and roll show? Would there be, is the idea, I mean, I'm not talking about like religiously or culturally, like the concept of whatever a rock band is, which is essentially like David Bowie described Adolf Hitler as the first rock star, as in a stage with loads of people going, yeah, who are into it. So in Afghanistan, say again,
always has been.
You could have a rock band
Always.
and so yeah, okay.
So back before the.
But what's the importance of the rock band?
But
as
essentially,
a type?
So I live in London, have done for 10 years now, and the reason why I've come to London is because I want to be in Guns N' Roses, but I was born too late. Well, right, because if you want a rock band, you've got to. In my head, I thought you've got to do it in London because that's where all the opportunity is. Yeah, it's about opportunity. Really, that's what I'm talking about. With your spread out big houses place, is there opportunity in the same way
as in a city
as
with
in a
many
city
people
with
together?
like a metropolis with everybody living in boxes? So what's the trade-off?
So if you was
Or
to
is
look
it-
at 90% of the world, any country in the world you go to, 90% of the people they do not live the way the Brits live. They do not live in the small houses. They do not live in the small box rooms. Go to Indonesia, huge houses. Indonesia, absolutely amazing. Go to Brazil. Go to, but just leave Europe aside.
90% of people
The
live in a
idea of
huge house.
squashing and pushing people so they don't have their own, because if it's easier to control 10 people who's living in one strip rather than 10 people who's living in one area.
Right.
The control of domination is very easy to actually hold them together.
Put them all in a block.
Then going separate. If everywhere you go around the world, even in America.
It reminds me Marie Antoinette with her famous cake quote, you know.
Oh, let them eat cake.
Yes, it sounds like that. Like you say that 90% of people live in their huge houses.
90% of the world, I mean.
90% of the rich people of the world. And English rich people prefer to live in a small house. You need to compare with your peers, right? The people who are financially on your level.
Even
you
the
think
rich
that-
of in here, even the rich of the UK, they don't live in London, they live outside London. Majority of the rich people of the UK, they do not live in London. You go there, you've got massive houses outside London. Completely outside, and go to Surrey.
The metropolitan elite live in London, and they are never posh.
There
They're
are
all
some
they live.
London is not
they
meant
live
to be
in a- They live
for.
in a semi-detached house in Highgate and work at the BBC on 200 grand a year. But actually, if you lived in Nottinghamshire and you earn 40 grand a year as a plumber, you could have a 5-bedroom detached house and maybe even a swimming pool. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think you're talking about the metropolitan elite, which is the EU Remain or the BBC, all of that. I think that's what you're talking about. Because in the UK, if you're a plumber in the provinces, you can live very well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You don't
And who voted for Brexit? The plumbers. Do you know what I mean? And so and so that was a vote against this. What's trans? What's politically correct? All the people arguing and the culture wars arguing about political correctness. They're the people living in small flats in London and in their little echo chambers. Whereas
Listen, they've pumped this idea of city life in your head. This is considered the city life. You know, where in Afghanistan we've got massive like example. In Afghanistan, if you see a poor person, they would have a massive house in further parts of the city. In UK and in Europe, you have got everyone living in small houses. Some in central, some further up central, but you all live in small, tiny houses. It's like you've forgotten how to kind of breathe in the house in a way. That's why your house is so squashed and then together. It's like you've got you've got 50 people living in one building.
Lower the goddamn.
What do you make of New York? Where like people have big, very comfortable apartments.
No, they don't.
But also it's very highly stacked.
They don't have big apartments. They absolutely don't have. That's not big apartment. But fair enough. You can call it their big apartment, but I don't think they're big apartments at all. I think they're even New York is even smaller than London, if anything, in terms of the way they build their houses. It's just high revenue. Big houses, I think you can find good houses, big houses in Asia a lot. You find them a lot in Asia.
In Hong Kong, we're known for their big apartments.
Like exactly. Hong Kong is in one of the places go and you would see the apartment. What do they mean by big apartments? Whether you're average person or whether you're a rich person. And here, if you're a poor person, you just get to live.
But I think poor people everywhere get shit places to live.
No. As I said, let's go to India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Iraq. These countries, you go to a poor person's house is massive. The house is massive. The income is they don't have income. That's fine, but they've got big house. The small house idea is in Europe. We don't have small houses. Our wall, if you punch the wall, is not going to go in. This is cardboard. This is literally cardboard here.
It's very expensive cardboard.
It's actually 2-ply plasterboard.
We don't make that.
But it's not expensive to make. It's expensive because the property prices. It's not a more expensive material.
No.
It's expensive simply because of the.
But you
paper
guys will
value.
accept. When Americans first came to Afghanistan, the house rent in Afghanistan, you can rent a 5-bed, 6-bed house for like $200-300 a month. When Americans came, I have seen people giving their house for rent for $50,000 per month.
No.
50.
They saw them coming, didn't they?
$50,000 per. Why? Americans were willing to pay. If you.
Oh yes, I saw some footage of British soldiers
I'll try and get hold of a coffee machine.
trying to get hold of a photocopier
Oh, right.
in Afghanistan, and so they came down from the base to the local photo printing shop, which had a photocopier. They said, "Look, we want to requisition this photocopier," and they had the translator, and they were having a negotiation. And they said, the British soldier said, "Right, I want the price for 3 months, for 6 months, for a year." And the translator they were having a 3-way conversation, and he said, "Look," the translator said, "Look, the guy is willing to do all your photocopying for you. You come down here to the shop, he'll do your photocopying for you, and you can just pay for the ink and the printing." And he said, and the British said, "No, we're here. We want to take the photocopy away. What is the price?" And he said, $500 a month.
And Americans will.
And they couldn't fly one in, on any of the C-130s. Yeah. There you go. Well, Afghanistan, but probably can now.
No, because the money's free. You see, the army, what they taught the army was very important thing. That remember that the paper money do not have value. So whatever they were spending air.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. They're literally spending air and water, and they know for sure that they could not take this money with them. We're gonna keep cash in Afghanistan. What are you gonna do with it when you're army?
But they were paying in dollars, not in.
There's no matter. There's no the way Americans and Brits they made money. So let's say you come to Afghanistan and you would have told me, right, I'm gonna give you this contract for 10 million. You pay me 1 million in Dubai, or you pay me 1 million in London. That's how they made their money.
Yeah.
But 90% or 80% of whatever the Brits and Americans did in Afghanistan, it was purely for themselves, and they came back with it.
Yeah.
The money it's the same thing as when they went to Saudi and they told the Arabs, "Look, we're gonna buy your oil off you, but the condition is that you have to invest back in America."
Yes.
So now you see half of Mayfair is owned by Arabs.
Yes.
You see half of New York is owned by Arabs. So they paid them the money just to take it back.
$100 back. Yeah.
That was how it was done in most of those countries. But in general, I think we are in a bad position financially in the world. You guys are in bad position mentally.
And with that, this is a new year, and with the blockchain revolution slowly grinding into gear, and the rebellion against the lockdown global police state of the Chinese social credit system being rolled out by the Davos elites through lockdowns, through vaccination mandates, through the Great British Body Snatch of 2020, which we've discussed here and we've reported on before. You, along with us, need to build infrastructure of freedom and democracy. And I think Matty today has shown us a new view of what freedom really entails when you're not within the framework of the Chinese social credit system that we are living under right now and have been for some time, such that we don't even forget. We're forgetting the parameters of the Antiquitech that we've lost. We're forgetting the parameters of the rights that are available to us, and we're in a position where we need to, firstly, using a think tank model, as we've been doing here at the New Athens, work out how to structure a society and infrastructure that is free and democratic and provides people with value that they can own and operate themselves and for ourselves. We'll be embarking on that process this year of working out that tool set that we can build together using things like blockchain technology, using things like cryptocurrency. We'll be updating you on that, and we'll be having a discussion about that in various forums, which we will link below. Thank you, Matty, for coming on and giving us a great view of a different understanding of what we see as the inevitabilities of life, and perhaps how everything is structured everywhere, rather than seeing that there is a diversity of views, and giving a great deal of insight into Middle East geopolitics, which I don't think any of us really understand.
Me neither, I'm sure.
Oh no, I mean, thank you so much.
Thank you for
time.
inviting me, and sometime when I'm in London, I would love to come by.
Fantastic.
You guys have got any, we might see a lot of things developing next few months in Afghanistan as well as around the world.
Great. Let's keep the dialogue open.
Definitely.
And thank you for watching. We'll be clipping this out and presenting a more focused conversation at some points very soon in the future. Tune back in next week for more episodes with us, the New Athens live stream podcast. I'm Lorenzo Mefsit. Thank you, and see you next
There's a
time.
5-minute drawing.
And Ed has a 5-minute. Massey by Ed Mitzer, everyone.
Mazza, that's how you pronounce my name.
No, Massey, but oh.